Hello, 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 and welcome to the test studio. Hopefully we exist now. We had a weird internet failure here in
I
Amesbury.
think I think we exist. It
Yay,
looks like
we
something's happening.
exist. Oh, wait, now I'm playing. There we go. Look at that. We're going to have all the failures today to show you. This is the fails episode. It's not really the fails
This is
episode.
this is the test studio. This is the test studio.
I know, we're
Yes.
testing things out. This is like hilariously ironic because I just finished putting together both the ultimate guide to live streaming as well as all of the audio information from the audio workshop. So if you're one of our blog readers, both of those posts are now up on the blog, ecamm.com/blog. But they go into depth about what to do for troubleshooting and what to do if things go wrong. So, we're just we're testing it all out for you so that we can continue to write these
Well,
amazing articles.
you needed some B-roll of
Yeah.
actual what happened. Like you needed evidence.
Yeah.
And I was happy to accommodate. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Doc says that Kirk broke the internet.
Oh, Kirk, come on.
Way
Oh,
to go.
redirect broke it. Yeah, so if you have not.
All right, let's see if this works. Hey everyone, Jillian here. Wow, look at this, guys. So this stream, we were having some connection issues. I'm in a different place, but I think the overall reception in Katie's location at the Ecamm test studio was not working. And I've also heard some rumors that YouTube is having fun and that there's some different connection issues there. Oh, okay. So we've got someone. This is the third stream I've watched that's had this problem. YouTube needs to get it together. Agreed. Let's go, YouTube. YouTube is wonderful, but we can't have these things happen. Alfie's here. What's up, guys? This was a lot of work to get Katie. Paul's got my number. So if you're just joining us live here in the test studio, which is not the test studio, this is the third time we have tried to stream to this link. I think that there are a number of different connection issues. But my name is Jillian. I'm happy to join you. As Paul is pointing out, this was just, oh wait, no, this isn't the comment I wanted to put up. Oh, wait, Paul had a better comment. But there was basically this was my tricky way of trying to kick Katie out of the Katie and Jill stream show, which I would never do because Ecamm Katie is my favorite person. So she might be joining us here. Oh, there it is. Jill, that was a lot of work to get Katie out of the picture. I would never do that. But you are also right. Outages are a part of life. So what's really cool is that, so basically, here's the deal. I have never logged into Ecamm as the producer to the Ecamm YouTube channel before. But with the power of the internet and Ecamm Live being so amazing, Katie was able to send over those permissions to me via email like that. Then I just logged out of my other Ecamm login. Sorry, let me just put some tabs down. I was able to, in my preferences in Ecamm, log out of my YouTube channel, add Ecamm's channel, and then when I went to go hit stream, it said that a stream had been interrupted. Do you want to continue that stream? And I was able to do that. So that's really cool because the stream started off in Andover, which is like an hour away, and then basically I was able to pick it right back up. So I think that that's really cool. Yep, outages are part of streaming, and yeah, things are just unpredictable. All right, Katie, so Katie's just going to hang out in the chat. So guys, my dream has come true. I'm just live streaming on Ecamm. All right, so today's topic is all about live stream production. So I am in a place, I'm at an economic development corporation. And so my role here is I come in once a week. I'm a subcontractor and I produce different video elements and different social media. So me, personally speaking, I have a full-time position in a school district. Actually, I can take my headphones out because I don't need them because I'm not talking to anybody but myself and you guys in the chat. Anyways, so I have a full-time position as a communications coordinator where I'm able to do social media, video production, infographics, press releases, grant writing, all that fun stuff. But then I also on the side, because I wrote it into my contract, which is a pro tip for all of you guys that are maybe working a corporate job but really loving live streaming, make sure you know what your contract is and do some negotiating so that you can continue to work on your own business and your own projects on the side, because not every company will allow that. I'm super happy that I'm able to do that. Take it away, Jill. You're in charge. And I'm so glad, Gretchen, that you are listening while you're cleaning the gutters. I hope I have some things that can help you in your journey on live streaming in the live stream world. So anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about kind of my setup, but then also I'm happy to answer any questions. So as I was mentioning before, I have a full-time gig. And then I have an opening to run my own business. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll end up leaving the corporate world at some point and leaning into my business full time. Or maybe I will continue to do what I'm doing now, which is kind of doing this on the side. I have found, at least here in Massachusetts, that there are lots of opportunities to make money, to get hired with the live streaming skill set or video production skill set. One of the easiest ways to do that is to work with clients that have events in person that they might want that captured or live streamed. So any of us that are doing live streaming, you're able to facilitate a hybrid event, a virtual event, or an in-person event, because you can certainly use Ecamm to do a multi-cam live to tape production. And honestly, of all the work that I do, I'd say 50% of it is using Ecamm to do live to tape. And what that does, it saves me a ridiculous amount of time in post-production. In terms of what I used to have to do before Ecamm, I would have a bunch of cameras set up at like a concert or a special award ceremony. And then I would get all the audio from there, pull it into Premiere Pro or Final Cut, synchronize everything, and then basically you have to watch the whole event again to switch between different camera shots, integrating B-roll, all of those things, which takes lots of time. So you can use Ecamm to do like live to tape events. So anyways, I am going to show you, if you're joining us late, we had some connectivity issues. And so this is usually the Katie and Jill show, but Katie's here in the comments because she's amazing. And so if you have any questions about anything I'm saying, please let me know. But I'm just going to go through my physical setup here. So on the first and sometimes the third Wednesday of every month, I live stream an in-person on behalf of an economic development corporation. So I'm going to show you some of the, I don't actually have the scenes set up, but I do have the location. So here is where I'm at. Okay, so you can see me here in the center of the room. And I have cameras. So you can see this camera shot here. This is a Canon M50 with a Sigma lens plugged in via USB. So all of the cameras that I have are that same setup. It's the same Canon M50s because they were reasonably priced. But then we did upgrade the lenses and everything is plugged in USB. The reason that we do that instead of using capture cards is that I want to be able to have multiple cameras on stage on this scene at the same time. And we don't need to push out 1080p. 720 is fine, and I think that the picture is great. But having everything plugged in via USB and not capture cards gives us the ability to add like all of the cameras at the same time. Actually one of them is turned off, as you can see. But anyways, so we really like these setups. So we started this live stream in the middle of COVID. So all of our seats here are physically 6 to 8 feet apart, so that if anyone's a little bit nervous about that, we can still facilitate an in-person live stream while respecting everyone's boundaries, which is good. And then I can talk through some of the gear, but I don't know. Let me see what you guys are chiming in and saying. Everyone is hanging out in the chat. Alfie's got a question. When you record a video, do you record it as if you are streaming live? Yes. Yes, I do. Certain events I'll also record on the cameras themselves. But I like to, especially like concerts or award ceremonies, I'll have all the multiple cameras set up. And then I will use Ecamm to live switch between those cameras And then oftentimes I'll have them recording at the same time in case I miss something. But eventually having like isolated video and isolated audio, you can fix those things in post if you want to. I wonder why you don't stream in 4K. So I don't need to stream in 4K for these type of events. I'm just happy to do, I'm happy to have the picture look better than a webcam. So this camera shot up here, this is kind of like our behind the scenes shot. And that is a very cheap, I think it was like $15 webcam. And I go to this scene right as we're ending our live stream so that we kind of just give this behind the scenes look. I have audio playing, you know, kind of like how Ken and Glenn do their Q&A at the very end. They have like a transparent overlay and they pull all the comments on the screen. So we kind of do that, and that's really fun. But anyways, so in-person events, let me go back to this. A scene set up real quick. So producing in-person events, there is a lot of prep that goes into doing in-person events, especially if it's like a paid event, or you have a contract, or you have people logging into different platforms and they're paying for a ticket to view an event. And so the number one tip I can give to everyone is have a backup to your backup to your backup, redundancies, bring more cables than you think you might need. Also, if you're going to be on location somewhere that you're not used to, make sure you know where the closest Best Buy is or the closest camera store and what their hours are. Super important because there are just things that are going to come up. You're going to accidentally bring the wrong bag, even if you've checked 100 times. One thing that my friend Ivan and I purchased last minute was one of those backup batteries. It's like this big thing that gives you, in case you accidentally unplug something, it gives you an extra, 10, 20 minutes to sort out what's going on. And so you can have all of your things. Ooh, Doc Rock's joining me. Oh, shut up. This is awesome. Hold on. Guys, the real deal. All right, hold on. Doc Rock in the building. Yeah, I can't hear you. Oh,
hey, we should make a rap duo. Like you do the singing parts and I'll do the rapping parts, and then we'll get DJ Rob to make us a track.
Oh,
Ecamm, that's my jam. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is connect your stream deck. Connect your stream deck. Click on those comments and answer your people. Connect and engage. Boom.
Doc, I miss you.
I miss you too, Jelly Bills. So far. Oh my God, so far. So I made an arrangement. Provided Katie doesn't kill me on the drive back from New York, instead of flying out of New York and people on video, I'm going to ride back to Mass with Katie and then like kick it in Mass for a couple of days and then fly home from Mass. So yes.
I love that. I don't know if I'm going to be going to any locations for the next, like there's a few events coming up. I think I've got to bow out of those. But if you're going to come to me, I'm going to make time to make sure I get to hang out with Dak.
Yeah, it'd be so much fun. Like it's so crazy, right? That like San Diego was an absolute blast until the end. It was an absolute blast. And it was just so much fun. And then like going out to eat and, like party like rock stars and the event itself just magical. Like it was so absolutely magical and meeting everyone and, yeah, it was a blast.
So in this show, Doc, we have to give the people what they want or what we told them they want, which is talking about production. And so I was just talking about in-person production and all the different things that you have to plan and have backups for. In the description of this video is a whole blog article, which includes a video from like behind the scenes when we did an all-day live stream paid gig, multiple locations, 12 hours. It was a ridiculous ton of work. But of the 3 sites that we were live streaming for that day, the only one that used Ecamm was the one that went off without a hitch. Everything looked beautiful. The audio was great. The video was great. We were able to figure out how to do instant replays. There were so many cool things that happened on that stream. Whereas the other ones that we had outsourced and paid good money, it was just choppy. It was like, here's the dance, and now it's just a waiting. Like sometimes it was a black screen, sometimes the audio wasn't working. It was just a disaster. But Ecamm, like, it was just amazing, and it was a really great production.
So, a couple of the ones that people don't think of, and it's kind of funny because this is perfect for today.
Yeah.
When we were in SD and we were in the little winery, we made arrangements ahead. I don't know why people don't do this. Listen, folks, you could set up any random spot. Like, okay, so in Amesbury near the Ecamm office, we have flatbread pizza spot, right? They got Wi-Fi, but they got the same crappy Spectrum, whatever, or Cox that we have across the street.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to do an event at that location, and this event was #important, like we get in the comments, you can go in your yellow pages right now, Ice Google, and search for event internet provider in your town. There is somebody that can bring you a truck. There is somebody that can bring you a mobile mesh network that connects at speed. Well, how do you know this, Doc? Because whenever there's certain conventions or fairs or whatever, you see them. It's like a little van with an arm on the top and a gigantic satellite dish. Unless you live in Beaver Grove Creek, Louisiana, these things exist. So if you're in a major market city, you have no excuse, right? Depending on that location, to have the internet that's capable for you to do what you do is #sillyAF. Okay. Jill was the one who put me on to the backpack mobile company. In Japan, I use them all the time, but I didn't realize we had Pocket Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, same company then. Oh, pop-up. Okay, because in Japan it's called Pocket Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And so you can rent a pop-up Wi-Fi joint where you have absolute control over the speed of the internet. So what we did, Katie and I, is we spoke to our boots on the ground person one time for Beth. Let me just pour out a little bit for Beth because she's off the chain. She went and spoke to the venue, and they go, "Oh, we don't got speed like that." And then I was like, all right, cool, get speed like that. And they're like, okay, cool, let me look into it. So they called their provider and say, can we boost our joint for like this week?
Yeah.
And the provider said, yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of times you need to coordinate with the spot. Like Ludacris told you, you got to coordinate. So spend some time coordinate with the spot, and you could bring in like gig fiber sometimes for a single event and not be suffering with hardware. We had wicked fast. Oh, wait, you're involved. Wicked fast. Wicked fast.
Wicked friggin' fast.
There you go. I knew you got it. It's your neighborhood.
So I also, because I do so many streaming events at like sporting places, and I'm always promised, hey, we've got our Wi-Fi is awesome. Yeah, but you don't have a separate press Wi-Fi. I mean, we're always talking about Wi-Fi and internet connectivity. I put something out there the other day just to say, hey guys, who's using what to supplement your income, your internet connection if you're on the go. So the thing that I use, I did a one-time purchase. I think it was $1,100. The PepWave Duo Max, which is now like 3 years old, and then I pay $40 to $50 a month because I have a SIM card that's added a Verizon line, and then a SIM card that added Sprint, which is the best in our in our location, our region. Although I brought it out to Wisconsin, and they were like, oh yeah, Verizon doesn't work in this area, so you just don't know. But anyway, so for me, it was important knowing in this area that Sprint and Verizon work pretty well to have my own device. So I put those SIM cards in there, and then it'll bond those together. And it can also, you can log into Wi-Fi and Ethernet to have it all bond and be like super powerful. So if you're doing hired gigs and if you want to have it yourself, that's something that you can purchase yourself and then have with you. But there are definitely things to troubleshoot, and there are outages like today that are just like outside of your control. But Doc's totally right. Even in writing up your contract or your proposals or your pitches, having a line item that takes the pressure off of you and shows them if this is an important live streaming event, then we're going to need to outsource that and that'll be covered there. So not even having to worry about it. I mean, you have to worry about it, but to not have it come out of your pocket, but have your client pick that up. What you got there?
This is a Netgear Nighthawk. I also had one of these in my bag. You can get these if you want. If you can swing the 4G versions, you can get it for like $250. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go 5G because it's that Snapdragon chip, which is super fast. What's cool about this guy is this is pulling from all the cell phones in an area, and most, again, major market cities have relatively fast 5G networks. And then so you can get this from AT&T for pretty cheap if you want to put it on contract. But if you're like me and you just want to buy it out or rent it out, you could buy one for like $700. You can rent one. I rent it for like $125 for the 2 weeks that we went. So it's super cheap. Have this in your pocket. So here's what's cool. We ended up not needing it for the event. But for the hotel, it was, when I was trying to do live streams from the hotel, it was hot trash. So having this Netgear Nighthawk and allowing it plus Speedify to connect us together for the hotel, I was able to do Ecamm demos and then my personal stream and stuff like directly from the hotel. So yeah, you can there's ways to get a control of this. It's not that hard. And literally, people check before you even start planning your event. One of the first things I would suss out is the internet, because what they tell you is what Jill's correct. Our Wi-Fi is fast. Yeah, for people sending tweets and like reading the
download speeds. Also, they don't think about the upload speed, and they don't think about the in-person or those hybrid events when you're gonna have, like, I went to a hockey game when during COVID. And they were correct in this one place. Their open Wi-Fi was ridiculously fast, awesome. The next year, the place is filled with people. I couldn't stream for a minute. It could not hold it because everyone is pulling from that same network. And then also, schools and a lot of corporate events will have firewalls, and they will say, "Yep, no, we'll give you an Ethernet. It won't be a problem." And yet you hit go live and you get this blue spinning wheel because you should have connection and your connection speed is awesome. You're plugged in via Ethernet, but you have to get on the phone with an IT person and say, "Can you please find my IP
they
address
have to
and
open
permit?"
YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube and Facebook are normally blocked because they don't want the kids, goofing all day.
Right.
So
you can get on it, but they won't let you push that. Like in my school district, that's the deal. I was testing. I could look at YouTube. Everything was working good. I had access to everything I wanted to go to. But when I pushed the live stream out, it blocked it. So I had to talk to IT. I'm telling you,
can't upload from school.
Exactly. We had the same thing happen out in Wisconsin where they said, "Yep, we're going to provide you with an Ethernet from this school." But we had used pop-up Wi-Fi as the backup, and thank God we did, because even though the Ethernet speed was delicious, it didn't work because it wouldn't allow us, the school would not allow us to push out a live stream.
I have to show you, people who are doing producing, I built one for Katie too, and everybody should build one of these. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it is, what you're going to need. My desk is messy, so I can't put my overhead. I just changed
while he's
cameras
setting
again
that
yesterday.
Up, this always bears repeating. Get one of these for your in-person productions. It's a little light puck, and when we get a comment and I want to tell someone we have a comment, it glows. I just love sharing this. This is one of my favorite production tools.
You got a light puck?
A light puck.
Shut.
And then I just
the puck out
shut the puck up. I put this on the host's little tray, and then when we have a comment, I do this.
The host little tray.
The host little tray, and then she knows, okay, at some point I need to go see the comments. I'm just filling time off.
I love that.
It's so easy. Because then really the guest doesn't want to be like, it's really hard when you're live streaming in person and you want to talk to your comments and you want to talk to people that are watching, but you don't want to interrupt the conversation. So that is my subtle way of saying, hey, heads up when you get a second, we have a comment to integrate without interrupting the flow of conversation.
I like it. Okay, so here's the overhead. All right, so this is
a plastic bucket.
Go straight. Yeah, this is an empty plastic bucket. my new 10 gig network thing out of the way. So this one is huge. So I originally bought this one, and I'm like, Katie's going to complain this one is too big. So I kept that one for myself, and then I sent her a little bitty one like this. Okay, hers
Oh
doesn't
wait, let
have
me
the
take
Hawaii
myself off.
stickers on it. Hers
There we go.
doesn't have the Hawaii stickers on it. It was designed primarily so I know the difference between mine and the one that I gave Kate. Okay, so first of all, plain old box, $9 from the dollar store. I don't know why it's $9 if it's at the dollar store, but you can buy cheaper ones for really cheap. I picked Plano, the fish tackle box company, because I know that we are going to travel with these a lot. We have like 3 events coming up. And if you just get a crappy box and all this stuff goes flying everywhere, you're going to be in deep kimchi. So I just spend the extra $3-4 and get a real grown folks box. Okay. Plus, it won't open in your suitcase. So what's inside here? When we were at Leap, Joe, remember all of
Yep.
I need a spigot. What the heck is a spigot, Doc? You know, a
Yep.
spigot. And you guys are looking at me like, Doc, a spigot's in the bathroom, you ding dong. And I'm like, no, Katie and Jill, it's this. Okay. So let me grab this out of here if I can get it. Okay, this is a spigot, right? This has the 3/4 inch size on the bottom, which means the bigger size connects to something like this, you know, the mic stand. How I actually have a brass spigot on here now, right? So this would connect to the mic stand, and then in the top, it would give me a standard 1/4 20 size hole that I can use to mount things to, right? This is what's on the mic stand right now. It converts a mic stand head to a 1/4 20, so that fits on the bottom of the camera, right? I just had a cage in my hand. I'll show you. So this, just imagine this is camera cage, you know, standard issue 1/4 20 hole. When we say 1/4 20, we just mean tripod, because it's a 1/4 inch thread rip with 20 teeth every whatever. That's the complication behind 1/4 20. So I got those in there. These are little mounts where if you need to mount something fat in one end and 1/4 20 in the other end, right? So you got adaptions, because rigging is going to be your life, right? So I have something that I can fit here, but you know how on the standard lights connect to this. This is a baby spigot. This is what lights normally connect to when you have a light stand. What else do I have in here? I have all type of adapters and screws. I have things for the cage, small ball head, because you might have a small portable light that you want to put somewhere, and you have a tripod, but you need to give it like a special angle, right? So keep a small ball head in there. I got some padding in case something is shaking. So whenever you get something in the mail that comes with these pads, you cut them up, you keep them in there. Got Allen tools in there, small rig, little screwdriver set that has all of the things that you'll ever need on the set, extra USB cables. These basically go in a hot shoe so that I can mount something to the top. So for instance, say the mic's not working and I need to go and get my what do you call that guy? Oh, why's my brain dumb? You know what I'm talking about. You know, one of these, a shoot gun mic, right? I need something that I can mount it to that'll help me mount it to my thing. I keep extra packets of do not eats in there, right? I like to keep a cord cover just in case you have a cord that you're wrapping up and it's stabbing the bag and it's going to probably bake through. These are 1/4 20s that have little loops on it. So if you need to hang a light from a ceiling, screw this into the bottom, string the light up, right? These are more spigots for mic adapters. These are spacers when you like the screw that you're connecting to is too long. These are important. I buy these 10 at a time. I keep giving them away. It's almost time to refill. These are, what do you call that? USB-C to USB-A, and then verse vice, USB-A to USB-C, right? Now these are really cool in here. It's really hard to do this looking sideways. This is levels for your camera. You put it in a hot shoe spot, and can he level it? No, you can't even see if I do level it. But yeah, I got levels
I
for my camera.
haven't seen that. That's cool.
Oh, come on. They're like I want to say 5 of them for like $3. It's super silly, right? I was just using this morning, but I keep this in there too. This is also similar, right? So you put it in the 1/4 20. I mean, you put it in the hot shoe, and you can see there's a little level there. It gives you level for this axis, and it gives you level for that axis, because your camera needs to be level on all 3 axes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in there. Then extra tools and stuff, and then of course wraps. And then normally what goes in the other hole, what's missing because I just used them all up, is lens cleaners. So I have
Yeah.
the Sony lens cleaners normally go in here, but I just need to refill that
And if
because
you
we used them
guys
in.
haven't heard Katie's story about how she she was streaming a really important guest, and or it was one of the first times she was streaming on behalf of Ecamm, and I think she was just using Potato Cam, built-in webcam, and it had a smudge on it, and she didn't realize. She's like, the quality of this camera is just so bad. And Ken or Glenn came over and were like, and then she looked gorgeous again.
Oh, snap.
So sometimes it's, have you not heard that story? Sometimes it's the little things. And honestly, like thinking about that, let me tell you one random thing that came up right at the beginning of a paid live stream that I wasn't prepared for. And I was like kicking myself for not even thinking about it. So we were streaming a dance competition, a very expensive contract. And, we did sound tests. Everything was good. But then the DJ turned the bass up right as we started. So what do you think was the issue that we weren't anticipating?
Vibration.
Yep. So as soon as it started, luckily the team wasn't competing yet. He was just doing like, hey, welcome to this year's dance competition. But the bass was so ridiculous that our cameras were like, So we needed extra. We ended up using foam underneath the feet because they were all on like risers, and then we added extra weights to the underside of the tripod to weight it down, and that fixed it. But had we not quickly been like, we need to put something actually under the feet of this and we had a really expensive tripod, but still it wouldn't take the shock out of it, so we had to add more weight to the top of the tripod, that underside part, and then the foam helped level it out, and we didn't have an issue. But it was like, holy crap, what do? We are live streaming right now, and there's no way that we could control like, hey, can you turn down the bass, because then the dancers wouldn't hear what they needed to hear. So those type of random things, it's like I'll make sure that I always have some foam, or like I saw that little piece of foam in your toolbox where I was like, oh yeah.
I have in my big box that I carry for like my DJ stuff, I have pieces of cut up old yoga mats.
Yeah.
It's just trustable. So I'm gonna give them guys the link of the exact size that I got. You could pick whatever size you want to, but I'm gonna show you the size that I use.
Doc survival kit.
Yeah, and again,
little
like
tackle box.
You can buy. I'm telling you, you could absolutely buy the cheap one, but it's probably not a good look because you are going to open and close this a lot, and you're going to want to throw it around. So I honestly suggest you buy Plano. I'm not even trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to cost a couple extra bucks more, but if I remember correctly, Plano has a lifetime guarantee, and they have these really, really rugged snaps. And because they're designed for, I guess, fishing people, they're semi-waterproof. It'll just last longer, but you can absolutely go buy cheap ones if you want.
Yeah. But I think the fact that it's transparent is probably super helpful because, I mean, God, how many friggin' bags do I have, and smaller bags inside of my bigger bags? And even though I think I know where I put things, I sometimes don't. So something like that, you can immediately look down and see, okay, yep, I've got this, or I got to grab that.
If you are going to buy the cheap ones, go to Ross because they'll have 3 for $20. Because I did buy some from Ross, but I just didn't feel they were strong enough. So I just gave them to Emma for her crafts and stuff. And then she was like stoked, But these are just fantastic. One other thing that I wanted to mention, because we had the same thing as well, is oh my God, my brain just went dumb. Oh yeah, this. I put it right here so remember.
Small rigs.
Small rig arms, right? You can get any brand you want. I tend to stick to things that I know are going to work because I do professional production as well, and you just don't want to have it fail, right? This is strong enough to hold a camera, and the other end, I have all the adapters on it so I can stick it to a mic stand. So if I'm at a place where they're musically inclined, I have my adapter so I can pull this guy out, put on the one that fits on the mic stand, stick this on the mic stand. I got a new tripod. When we're a tripod short, which is what we were doing for Leap, right? We were a tripod short, but we had like extra music stands. So this is where, get you a couple of small rig arms. I have a tiny one right here that is actually holding my iPhone over my Rodecaster Pro so that I can see whenever someone says, well, how do you move this slider on a Rodecaster Pro? Like this, right? So this one is actually stuck to my Elgato arm so that I can switch back and forth. But these little clamps come in handy. This is a medium-sized one. The one that's on here is a small, and then they have larger ones. But you should get several of each size, and they're not expensive. They're not super cheap either. So even if you got to buy them one at a time until you flush out your thing, you will want these clamps. These are dope. I go nowhere without these. They're in my little travel bag, if you will.
So I had a live stream the other day, and I'm just going to show the space again. So typically for this regular corporate live stream that we have, I've got 3 people, right? Me, the host, and the guest. But we had an extra guest and an extra 2 guests, and we kind of didn't know like where we were going to put everyone. And so I had to buy an extra microphone. I had to get some extra mic stands that would sit on the table and reach them and all of that. But I ended up buying some of those small rigs because you can see here, I'm going to put myself over it. See how these traditional tripods take up so much floor space? And so what I ended up doing was I used a light stand, which is basically going to be like one tall pole, and it's still got a base, but it takes up a lot less floor room. And then I put a smart rig on one side and then on the other side, so that I had basically 3 people over here at a wider table, and I could still have one camera for each person, but it took up the same amount of floor space. And then I used gaff tape and some different wraps to have the cableage all just go down in one spot. And so when my guests came in, it wasn't even the cluster that it is now. It was really tidied up. It was really clean. But I literally was like, how am I going to fit all these tripods? It's going to look like crap. Because it's not just, okay, when you're producing something like this, you don't want your guests for your stream to be like, oh, you got a lot going on, because it looks janky. It looks unprofessional.
It also
makes
freaks
them
them out.
nervous. Yes, it makes them nervous. So when they walk in and like literally the whole rest of the space, we had some storage things here. We moved everything out so that everything was as clean and streamlined as possible. And it took a full day to reset up our space to make it so that when they walked in, they felt comfortable. They knew where to sit. It wasn't a big deal, but it was at least a full paid day of me rearranging this space that's already set up for live streaming. But when you have something, if they're like, oh yeah, no, we've already got cameras, never underestimate the amount of time that you're going to need to spend to put everything together, to run tests, to make everything look as clean as possible. And you do need to do that for your VIP guests, because if they feel like you don't know what you're doing just on the image, they're not going to feel comfortable. Your live stream's going to start off clunky, and eventually they might feel more comfortable, but you just don't want to put people in that position. I've been that person, and it's like, oh, what the hell? Why am I taking out this time to be a guest when they obviously don't know what they're doing? Even if they do, if it feels like they don't, it's not like worth my time.
It's super funny. I'm gonna give these guys the links to my little spigot kit. But it's funny that you say that, because it's also, I think again the key is just if you have your cable management right. I know when you're in a rush and you're doing something like you don't want to spend a lot of time doing it, but cable management will do 2 things for you. Number one, it will make your guests feel less freaked out, because the more wires they see, they just get nervous. I don't know why, because they're not the one running it. You just got to sit there and talk dummy, but it freaks them out. But second of all, I can't tell you how many thousands of dollars of equipment we've lost because somebody was lazy to, strap it down. You know what I mean?
Yep. 100%. I mean, I used to have, we shared this on the fail episode. So if you guys look on this playlist and you go back to like Ecamm fails, which we don't recommend you do, but you can learn from our mistakes. I had my power cable, my power strip that plugged in this actual iMac. And luckily it didn't happen during a live stream, but it happened during a really important Zoom call. And my foot hit a cord that was looped, like a thicker cord. And anyways, that looped cord was hanging right above the power strip power button. So I moved my foot a little bit that touched the cable a little bit that turned off the power strip, and my whole computer just went. So, I mean, it's something small, but it can happen. So definitely cable management. But in terms of treating your guests so if we're talking about in-person events, having everything look clean just makes everybody relax, and it doesn't, even just walking through the room, if they feel like they have to literally tiptoe to get to their spot, that's no good. And they might be impressed on the production later on, but if their first impression is that it's just kind of rigged together, you're going to come across as scrappy, but you're not going to come across as professional. And let's say I'm working with a client that comes here and they're a guest, but then I want to network and maybe do a great job, and maybe they'll hire me for their big corporate one-day event that's going to pay me, $12,000 or something. Well, would they want to hire me if my physical presentation... What are you playing over there? If my physical presentation stresses them out or makes it look like I'm Mickey Mousing everything together? Or is it going to be yep, I can come to your corporate event, set things up, have everything look nice and neat, So to be hired, you want to make sure that you're an extension of whatever they're looking to do, because they're not going to bring you on if they feel like you're just kind of scrappy. You know what I mean? There's a time and a place to be scrappy, but for hired production...
For higher production, it's not it.
It's not it.
Sorry. COVID girls over here requesting food.
Sammy's got a question. Sammy's asking me, what iMac are you using in the space that you're at? So this iMac is I'm just pulling it up right now. It's a 2019 21.5-inch iMac with 8 gigabytes of memory, which I do not recommend, because when I'm live streaming, and we don't do a ton of heavy lifting on this computer, but I found even today we had a live stream this morning, and I had Chrome open. I was trying to show some websites, some picture-in-picture stuff. I was excited about it, but I opened up Outlook. I had too many programs open, and the fans went on, and my stream started to get degraded a little bit. So I ended up closing everything else out. And so yeah, definitely go with those extra RAM. But this is not my computer. This computer was purchased by the corporation that I work with. So we make it work. I just make sure that I don't have Premiere Pro open on it, because the RAM was just getting chewed up.
They just updated Premiere Pro and After Effects to be even more M1 dopeness. So if you happen to be one of the people that like to kill yourself with Adobe products on an M1 machine,
what
it
do
does
you mean
work.
kill
Now,
yourself with Adobe
well,
products?
No matter what happens, it's funny because I know how to use both.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, and people get mad at them for doing it, but Apple always will have a faster, better, quicker, more nimble response to processor updates and changes, because they made the processor
native.
Yeah.
Right.
And people say, well, they're not telling Adobe the secrets. No, they don't hold it back. They told everybody the secrets. Adobe just big, and they're also multi-platform, and this is not a negative. This is actually a positive.
Yep.
But in this particular case, that positive becomes a negative.
Yeah.
It turns out that their Premiere, it used to be Premiere was only a Mac app. When Creative Cloud came, Premiere became more of a Mac and a PC app. And just due to the market size of PC, they put all of their developers on the PC side.
Okay.
And then so we went back to where we came from, where any company that made the app for both platforms, the Mac team was always Ken and Glenn, and the other team was 50 people deep, right? Adobe, when they went Photoshop, everything, it used to be back in the day, if you want to run Photoshop, you got to get a Mac. If you want to run, Illustrator, you got to get a Mac. When they made it cross-platform back in Photoshop CS, which is circa 2000, a little bit earlier, they slowly started growing the team on the other side. And so now they're no longer nimble on the Mac side. And although the products are dope, they just take long. So you all have that friend that you absolutely love, and you want to party with her because she's fun to kick it with, Eden, looking at you, but is always late because they got to get extra cute and spend all this time, and then half the party over before they show up. Again, Eden looking at you. That's what they do. So it's great. It's a fantastic program, but Apple is always nimble. And even though they gave everybody the developer kit, I look at Ecamm, right? We got the developer kit the day after WWDC, which is next month for everybody, right? And by October, when the machine came out, M1 Ecamm was ready. Real thugs get down on the floor. Ken and Glenn, 2-man team, Ecamm native on day one of M1. Adobe has a development team of like a couple thousand. It took them a year and a half to make it M1 native. Why? That's just, you know what I mean? But that's it. So they did fix it because enough of the Mac people, which is like, you know, Marvel and, you know, all of the people that actually can pay them a lot, said, look, stop slipping. I need you to get this popping. And then they finally put it together. So it is there. Final Cut still faster though, because they still got some polishing to do. So they're not completely done, but it is working. Yeah. And After Effects is amazing now.
Yeah. Oh, I love After Effects. And there are so many awesome, sleek presets that you can purchase. So for me, let's talk about some different tools that we use and different subscriptions that we pay for that help us with this, because we're kind of talking about it anyways. So like I have like Envato Elements, and if you go there, I like getting a ton of presets from there. Even like you can download a cool preset for like your resume and have a nice template that's going to make you stand out. But if you're used to, they have options for Final Cut Pro, for After Effects, for Premiere Pro. There's a lot of things. You know, everybody loves Canva, and Canva is great. I use Canva a lot. I use Descript a ridiculous amount now. Descript has been amazing. But I also, for some projects, I really need to be able to control everything. So I still am a big Premiere Pro and After Effects for a lot of my like animated graphics and stuff like that. But if you've never used After Effects, there's this fun journey where you know nothing, and so you're wicked frustrated. You learn a couple things and you're like, oh my God, I'm so good. And then you try to do something that you think is going to be intuitive and easy. And it's like, oh, I do stuff like that. And then you know nothing because you just suck and it's too confusing. And then you start to learn more and you start to feel better about it. And you find this like medium spot, unless you're like full time doing everything in After Effects. And then you're just eventually become a pro. But After Effects is great. And there's so many awesome, really snazzy things that you can do and personalize and really control in After Effects and editing software like Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro. So I think that those still have their places, like in terms of taking all of this awesome live streaming footage that we're doing and then repurpose it. Yeah. What about you, Doc? What are some other tools or templates or things that you use?
It's funny that you say that, because when I first got to Ecamm, one of the things that probably put me on the radar was teaching people how to make, like, you know, lower thirds with Keynote.
Yep.
I'm not a Keynote person, so
I did all those tutorials too.
I got like 3 of those tutorials down, and then Bradley was like, "Oh, I would do the Keynote thing," and I'm like, "Please, Bradley, go. I wouldn't have to touch this. I'm going back to Final Cut." So I still do most of my lower thirds and stuff in Final Cut because I can do them in less than a cup of coffee. Like I can do them in 3-4 minutes. Yeah. Whereas even Canva, as easy as it is, it takes me longer because I'm, you know, not working from muscle memory. So
100%. Once you get those muscle memories of like your shortcuts and everything like that, God, I switched from one keyboard to another, and I was just like, I can't do it. I need my regular keyboard. I couldn't do it.
So I travel with my little clickety click that everybody hates over here. So my little.
I love my clickety click. Yeah.
So do I. Okay, so we had this conversation on my stream like literally last Saturday. We was talking about, okay, I got to roll out my basketball team, go Celtics, and I needed to pick my top 5, right? Yeah. So Ecamm, Final Cut Pro, Descript.
Yeah.
Hello.
Descript or Descript?
It's either or. They don't care. And I love how Jalen did that. You know what? I might do that too. I love how they did that because they said they want to take that argument away right away. So let it be whatever. Right. Yeah. And I love that. Okay. Yeah. So you can just stop people from fighting about it.
But that's software, man. Everybody needs, if you're in the Ecamm world, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't care if it was 10 times more expensive than it is. Get yourself a Descript.
I probably would do it. Yeah.
And then you know what? If you were getting paid, like let's say you've got a client like I do that you produce regular live streams for, and then they want you to create, you know, 4 to 5 shorts from those episodes. Okay, let's say, this is like secret talk, okay? Let's say that it used to take you 10 hours to create those shorts. I'm just saying, it's 10 hours, and let's say you get paid $100 an hour. So you've got $1,000 to make these shorts. Well, honestly, with Descript, you can do it so much faster, but keep charging the same amount because it's amazing. You're providing the same services, and if your client is paying you to do those services, then if you found a more efficient way to get it done, awesome. The more times that you do video editing, the faster you get at it. So does that mean you should get paid less because you're more efficient, because you have a better education, because you have more experience? No. So anyways, Descript, there's still some shortcuts that I literally try to do keyboard shortcuts that I use for Premiere Pro in Descript. So I'm still learning some of their shortcuts, but I'm telling you right now, it is definitely worth paying for that pro account. Do it. And you can, like the fact that I use 4 different computers to do work on. 4, because I have different clients and they have their own, technology. They have their own equipment. So the fact that I can go to any of these computers and just pick up where I left off, it's super intuitive, it's sleek. Oh my God. Anyways, I didn't mean to go down a Descript path,
but it's important to know, right?
Yeah.
So the way I had it, I had Ecamm at center,
Yep.
right? I had the script at strong forward. I had Jasper AI at my other forward, and coming in at point guard, Final Cut Pro, and Auphonic as shooting guard. And
Auphonic?
with my team, Auphonic, yeah.
Oh.
Not AUPHONIC. So here's where everybody screws up. It's so super irritating when I come to your video and you're about to give me all the knowledge I need to win. And then your video sounds like this because I can't really hear you because you thought you called it loud, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, right. Wow, your ASMR is good. I can't do ASMR. I'm too grizzly.
I can't handle it. I hate ASMR, but I guess I can dish it out. Yeah.
So what Auphonic
Yeah.
does is it will level all of your audio to make it what the particular place is looking for. So how can I think of this out loud in English? So for instance, I want to make a video and I want this video to go to YouTube. So I'm going to go into Auphonic. I'm going to say, I want you to level all my speakers. Even if I have multiple speakers, I want you to level that. I want you to make the music, it's called putting a notch, people.
Okay.
You'll see in an EQ, when you watch pros do EQ, there's these weird things that just look like this on their thing instead of the little soft bumps, right?
Yeah.
That's called a notch. That's because Jill's voice resonates at 2700K. So I'm going to make a hole in the music at 2700K. So the music is still loud, but you still hear Jill. And you're like, how do they do that where the singer is singing and yet the music is still thumping? They cut a hole in the music where that person's frequency range is.
Yep.
This is why when your local band does it, it never sounds as good because their engineer doesn't know how to cut a notch. Simple, right?
Yeah.
So Auphonic kind of uses machine learning to do things like that, brings your vocal presence up, even take out certain noises. If you had a fan or an AC or, there's a little whistle from the neighbors, it can remove some of that stuff. But anyway, even if I do everything myself in my audio editing program, when I am done, I send it to Auphonic. Auphonic puts that last little polish on it, and then I post it because I know it's the right level for YouTube. And what I tell people to make an example of, CNN is famous for this, MSNBC, a couple other places famous. Different hosts have different levels in their video clips because their rookie producer or their cousin that they hired, Chris Como, doesn't know how to level audio. So you watching YouTube, and you've seen it now, just watch YouTube today on autoplay and be like, good. What the heck are they? I can't even hear that.
Yep.
And then the next ones are good. Then these are too loud.
Yep.
Auphonic will fix that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
I'm going to look into that. I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, I'm actually, it's the best. It just saves you time because I know how to audio stuff. You guys don't. You don't have to know how to do anything. All you do is go to the web page. Here, I should do it because it's easier to show you than explain it, because if I explain it, it's going to sound complicated.
Want me to put just you for a sec? Are you doing a screen
people
share?
are going to think that Doc is over here making up complicated stuff. I don't want to. And other thing that everyone automatically goes, Doc is going to be expensive. It's not even expensive. Shut your face. Okay.
Shut your face.
All right. So here's what it is. I'll pick my episode from yesterday, right? I'll just go ahead and edit the one that I did yesterday. Okay, so you come in, it says pick your file. You pick your file from your computer. You just say is what it is, right? If you have an image, because this is a podcast, right? If you have an image, there's a logo, create a 50, right? And then on the logo, I pick which episode it is, right? So yesterday was episode 7, and then track 7, adjust that, put in my year and time, all of that. You don't have to do this. I do metadata because I understand how SEO works, but you pick your format. I wanted MP3. And then I want it to be 320 kilobits per second because, well, I just know what I know, right? At the end, this is all you really need to do. This is the part that matters. Adaptive leveler, it means fix your face, right? And then you're going to put loudness normalization. What that does is sometimes if you guys watch Feature Friday video, every Feature Friday video gets auphonic, by the way. If you watch, hey, welcome to Feature Friday, people, blah, blah, that's me. By the end of the video, it came down a little bit because I have said a bunch of swear words in between flubbing lines. And you start out with the heat because you're in a good blah, blah, blah. And then after you recorded the whole video with the sound coming from camo instead of your mic, oh yeah, I forgot to put camo in on the bench because that's also important. Yeah, you're gonna be mad at yourself that it didn't have that same presence. So adaptive leveler and the normalization will fix that. I fixed my target, which is -16 loudness under full scale, or sometimes it's presented as K-weighted. This is what YouTube and Spotify and everybody wants. If you're making stuff for Netflix, you're gonna come down to 23 or 24. But YouTube, they want 16.
That's
right?
teeny tiny. Oh, there you go.
And then I'm going to select.
So wait, we should do that TikTok
filter.
thing where we say pause to screenshot.
Oh, pause the screenshot.
Okay.
Well,
no.
But when I click it, Ecamm does that weird thing. Yeah. Anyway, so you want it at -16. It literally says podcast and mobile. And the reason why you pick that, people, what are the majority of people looking at your content on? Hello, McFly, right? So you want podcast and mobile because many folks is listening on a low speaker. And then you put on your filtering. If you had any weird noises and whatnot, you want to hit this button. I don't do that because it can add a little aquaphonic to it, so you sound like you're underwater a little bit. That's just digital processing.
Yep.
But my space is clean, so I don't have to worry about that. Check that off, and then you press, start to production, right? And then once you do that, it's gonna my file's already uploaded, and it's gonna do everything, and it's done. Now, on this one, I was already kind of like in there like swimwear. So my input and output aren't that different. Because again, even if I already fixed it, I still send it here just to double check it. This is my save your bacon icon. But if I look at some of the other productions where it was just like mad heinous, it's there. Ooh, I know what I just did, which was dumb though. I just re-uploaded it to my podcast aggregator. If you happen to have a podcast aggregator that's on the list, you don't even have to upload it. Auphonic uploads it for you. What? Yes. So yes, now you know there's a new episode of Creator 50 that came out yesterday. But yeah, this thing is gangsta. Like it's a lifesaver. I'm just telling you.
All right.
And yes, Eden, you made the list.
I didn't mean to put myself there. You made the list. Woohoo. Where'd you go?
Because camo is a game changer, man. So many times you're like stuck out. You just want another angle, or it's the only thing you got. Like, it's the best. And so many people like to play with these little $3 and $4 apps because they're $3 and $4, but they're just whack. Like camo is just great. It's worth the money. Just spend it.
Hey, Doc, one of the things that Katie and I talked about that we might be bringing up today, and that I think you can really speak to given your journey, and your journey is super dynamic, and even though we don't have time to talk about all the things because we're over time, but that's okay because I'm chilling. I'm here for it. One of the things that I wanted to bring up was the thought process behind like people that are doing this as a hobby, people that are really getting good at streaming. They're trying to build their YouTube channel, their online presence, but they're wanting to go from doing this as a side gig to being their main gig. And I feel really lucky and happy that I've landed where I've landed. And as I kind of kicked off part of this, I'm a full-time school employee. I'm a communications coordinator, so I have a full-time job. I negotiated that contract to make sure I could continue to run my own business and to pick up my subcontracting, knowing that I've been moving into this direction. So for me, I was able to carve out a niche for myself because I used to teach in a school system where I can be a producer making six figures for my job, and then everything else on the side is growing my own business. So I wanted to encourage people, and if I'm repeating myself, sorry, I do that sometimes, but I never know who's watching. If you're wanting to get hired as a live streaming producer or as an in-person video content creator, there are lots of possibilities in your area. And I always encourage people, if you're kind of starting from scratch, do some selective volunteering that's going to give you the opportunity to produce a great content or to great material, and then leverage that through networking that's organic. And so places that you can do that in your own backyard are Chamber of Commerce. So if you're in the United States, and almost every town or county will at least have one, if not more than one, Chamber of Commerce. If you can pair up with them and do some volunteering, hey, I saw that you have an upcoming founders event. If you haven't hired someone to do video production, could I do that for you? I'd really love to do that. And we could talk about rates or some type of bartering, but if I could do that, I would love to be able to do that. Show yourself. You're going to get in front of so many clients. And so even if you're just doing it pro bono, also there's local cable access channels that you can get a part-time salary to improve your craft and to learn how to do your job better. And then volunteering in whatever organizations you or your kids or your family is involved in. So like for you, your path is kind of interesting too, because you're working full time for Ecamm, but then you're also able to do to be yourself and to grow your own business on the side. So can you talk because I walk the line between, do I still want to be an employee or do I want to fully do my business by myself? And where I've landed, because I've got 4 young kids, is to stick with my corporate job for this season and for this next season of life, because I'm not joking, it's a 6-figure job to do what I love in the school system. And even though I've got different opportunities, why don't you sell a course? Why don't you do this? I've got job security. And if that job goes away tomorrow, I've got teacher certification. So I know that I'm privileged in this area. Not that I haven't worked my ass off to get here, but I'm just saying. But for you, so how are you able to do what you're doing now, being a full-time worker and also do your side gig, and not, what do you have for recommendations for people that are really good at this thing now?
My favorite conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
First of all, too many people think everything is binary. Not everything is binary, unless I say so.
Okay.
most things are not binary. What that means is they're not left or right. They're not black or white. They're not Xbox or PlayStation. They're not Mac or PC. They're not Ford or Chevy. No, they're just not binary. Most things are both answers. Okay. So let me hip you guys through some stuff real quick.
Yeah.
Number one, now is the time. If you couldn't before. I will give insert your favorite word here. Last week, what your answer was. I'm telling you today, listen to Uncle Doc. Now is the time. Why? Because I follow this page, not because I'm looking. Thank you, Katie. Because I like to study my industry. I put a link in the chat. The link in the chat will take Kim folks over to this LinkedIn Jane right here. First thing on the list, live streaming host, content creator, $500 to $2,000 a month, part-time, right? Just scroll down here. There's just tons. There's so many, because companies that know they need this now, because they've been listening to folks like us, but they ain't fitting to do it, right? I need someone to create content for me full-time for $64,000 a year on the high-end level, if you got that kind of life, right? Some of these companies are in echelons of what you already know. Like you already been pimping this game for a long time. So I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, I say street oriented things. I grew up in the street. A real pimp would choose both. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
like put yourself out there. Now that wasn't my intention. My intention was to just go real deal Holyfield, straight up full-time creator. But in the process of helping everyone, and in the process of doing what I was doing like you're saying, giving out all the free advice, whatever, I was found luckily by
Yeah.
Katie.
Yeah.
And then the fun, I just found this out, people. I didn't know this was what happened, but there's a meeting of Ecamm team when there's, you know, like 8 people, and they're like, yo, we need to get another person on, someone that can help us, you know, do all this content creation stuff, help run the community, and blah blah blah. We need somebody like Doc. I think that came from Midori maybe, or Meg. And then Ken or Glenn, one of the twins, was like, why don't we just ask Doc? You know, because the assumption is, and this is
Yeah.
again, the assumption was because I have my wood business and, you know, doing my own channel and stuff like that, that maybe I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I do. You know why I wanted to do it? I knew what my purpose was. My purpose, my mission was already figured out. The most important thing, I don't have time. Purpose is a longer clock. I can't do this. This hurts. Purpose is an analgesic, right? I can't do this because I can't focus. Purpose is a pair of glasses. Like when you know what your purpose is, you're moving in your life on a very, very particular mission, right? And I knew what that was. Katie says, I understand. The part of our interview was like, I understand your purpose. I know exactly what you're trying to do, and I can align with that. And wouldn't it be nice if all of the people that you're turning into content creator just so happen to want to use Ecamm because of the energy that you put out? And I was like, okay, this conversation aligns with my purpose. So I get to do what I love every day, which is talk to you folks. You know, people like Michael and Gretchen and Elaine and Guy, like all of my homies, right? I get to talk to them all the time, and I still get to create content. I still, as I'm creating content for Ecamm, it is still honing my skills as a content creator for Doc, because repetition works.
Yeah.
Right. But I no longer have to think about my health care. I no longer have to think about retirement and some other things that would come with just going into be a creator. So you can very much, you know, to steal a phrase from Cat Williams, you can very much make a pimp decision and do both, because there is probably somebody in your echelon right now in your direct field looking for a content creator.
Yeah.
And you already have those skills.
Yeah.
Jill just done told you that. She just did it.
Yeah.
Now, staying a teacher don't get you 6 figures.
No.
Staying a teacher that teach other teachers how to teach using all of this tech,
that'll do it. And there's another thing, there a whole nother field that people don't think about. Like if you have live streaming skills, you have video creation skills, you have reel creation skills. Okay, so like one of my steady clients, I'm on retainer with them. I'm gonna drop the info here. Okay, so $2,000 a month. I manage just an Instagram account of a restaurant. I don't do the Facebook. I don't do the website. I am creating TikToks for them and stuff that they haven't fully launched that yet. But just for that, that's extra money, okay? And I love doing it. I get to go in and everything like that. But the lift is easy. Now, do you know how I got that job?
from doing reels.
Well, I got that job because that person was a guest on a live stream with me in a different place. So in the economic development world, now I'm not like every person that comes in here, I'm not like, hey, let me get your number. Let me get this. We just made a connection, saw him again in the future. He talked about a need. So there are plenty of small, medium, large business owners out there in your own community that, you know what, honestly, go look in your community and look for restaurants and other small businesses and find the companies that don't have reels going on, that don't have Instagram even up yet, or LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, TikTok or Facebook. Find the companies where there's a need, Okay. And then show them what you can do. One of the biggest jobs I ever got, I made a personalized pitch. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself again, but I made a personalized pitch to the largest language learning app out there. After I failed, I worked with a failed start. Yep. I was doing a project with a startup company that failed. They were being a little sketchy, and so I stopped working with them. And then I was feeling devastated because I'm like, man, I found my niche. I found my thing. Teaching English as a second language, working with Brazilian Portuguese speakers and Spanish. Like, I love languages and I love communicating and teaching. So like, this was what I was supposed to do, and it failed. I can't do it. So then I made a pitch video. I'm talking 6-7 years ago, because I just had my twins. 6 years ago, I made a pitch video. I did some creeping on LinkedIn. I made a pitch video, and then it was probably a year, maybe 2 years later, that it actually all came together. But I worked with that company. I made a great side income, and it was through that I was able to see, man, you know what? I don't want to just teach. I want to lean into this more. I want to produce more. I want to use my copyright skills, my skills on camera, my teaching ability, and my passion for language and people, and do something with it. And now, you know, it all led to where I'm at now. But I made a pitch video and sent it as an unlisted YouTube link to the CEO of that company and some other people that I knew oversaw that. And I said, I see a need for you to have engaging content, and I really think that my experience as an English teacher and a language learner could be a great fit. I'd love to talk. And it worked. It worked. So like, you can look in your own community, in your own backyard. If you're as busy as I am as a parent, look for a need in your own backyard. Be likable, be easy to work with, be yourself, but be an honest person, and do some selective volunteering. I'm not saying go kill yourself and do hours and hours of volunteering at a place that's just going to keep taking. Have it be mutually beneficial, and see what doors open by putting yourself out there. But I mean, could I walk away from my corporate job and be okay? Yeah. And maybe if I did that, then I wouldn't be on the fence so much, and I could go do my course. I could go produce even more content and stuff like that. But also, you know, everyone's on their own journey, and I'm just now, it's crazy. I'm 38 years old, and I'm like, you know what? I'm in a good place, and I'm going to ride this out for a while. And I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of you need to sell your own course right now. Because you know what? This is another thing I'm going to drop. And Doc, I know you're going to agree with me. Just because you've got a good live stream production out of your home, and you're a great host, and you know how to control your own streams, and man, you look so awesome, you've worked on your own space, I don't want to be mean, but that does not mean that you are qualified for some of those producer positions that are on LinkedIn, or creative director positions, or in-person virtual hybrid event producer. If you look through those descriptions, I'm telling you, I feel pretty confident at what I can do, but I'm also aware of like, oh crap, I don't know any of that terminology, or I know analytics, but not deep enough. And so I don't know. I'm not trying to pop anyone's bubbles, but I see a lot of people that are going a lot of people, especially in this community, that are feeling good. Man, they look good. They've got a lot of props. They've been invited to be on a lot of shows like this, but that does not mean you're ready to sell a course. And I guess that's my point. You know, I'm not saying some of you are more skilled and you have more business savvy, and you should be doing that. My friend Ivan, guys, I'm not even saying this as his friend, but when he sells his course, Ivan Barra, sign up for it, because he has helped me as a friend get so many jobs. That $2,000 a month job, Ivan coached me through how to pitch that correctly. You know what I mean? Anyways, so there are people that just because you look great, and just because you look great in your corner of your room or in your home office, does not mean that you're quite ready to sell a whole course. And I'm just saying, I don't know. It just needed to be said. I don't know why I did.
So it's funny. It's funny you say that because you're right. A lot of people, you can't just okay. We want to encourage people to go, but you got to know when to go because
Yep.
you can be, you can set yourself up for just like a world of hurt. But the
Yeah.
reason why I want to give you guys the plug, right? Couple of places where I killed it as a Ecamm affiliate, right? Just showing my lawyer, who's an Ecamm user now, how to do this. Ended up showing like 5 or 6 other lawyers how to do this. They all ended up using Ecamm for their video depots and their video interviews and stuff now. And it wasn't just them using the software. They paid me to come and set up their little studios and do whatever, like similar to what we did to the office in Boston. Right. Telemedicine. A lot of doctors are forced to do this now and they look like crap. And I want to listen to you, doc, but I can't listen to you because you look like crap. And I'm trying to pay attention, but all I see is the blur and the background moving in and out and blah, blah, blah. And the person I always pick on is Dr. Rachel from CDC, who is hands down the smartest female on the freaking planet. But I had a hard time listening to her, even though she's telling me how not to get sick, because her video was just that bad. And I was like, Dr. Rachel, like, how do you have video that bad when you have all of this money at your leisure? Like, can we like get you set up? Like, can we get you a copy of Ecamm and some lights and, let me come over there and to Atlanta and fix your face? Cause it's just not, it's really hard to pay attention to someone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or the audio is unlistenable.
The audio is really
that's
bad.
tough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then universities and some education, they don't really have it, but there are educations that got money like that. And what do I mean by that? Education for professional organizations. So go to the board of realtors to wherever you live, and it's realtor, not realtor. There's only one A, realtor, right? So go to the board of realtors where you live, and then talk to them. Go to the insurance commission where you live and talk to them. Go to the bar association and the junior bar association and the retired bar association where you live. Give them an Ecamm/Zoom demo. Put them on, and number one, they will love you. Number two, if you ever need a lawyer, you're going to get one, right? And so construction companies, right, they got to do tele inspections now, so you can put on your game and just like stop showing up in Zoom looking Rudy Poot, because every time I show up in Zoom looking like this, I instantly, how'd you do that? Well, let me talk to you. And then they offered to pay. I don't even have to ever pitch, oh, for $150, I can show you. They're like, how can I pay you to come to my office and just do everything? And then I'm like, okay, initial consultation is $150. If you need to buy any gear, I can make a list for you. I'll send you a list till you can buy everything. The list is
those are all
Amazon
your
links.
affiliates. Yeah.
Right. As I send them the list, they have their secretary or whomever click everything on the list, by the way. And then when all the parts land, let me know. I'll be over within a day or two. I'll get you squared away. And then they just bless you up. Right. They bless you up. So I know I've built a metric ton of studios, and I just got hit up for a political season coming up to go bless up somebody's campaign office. And I'm not even on their side of the party, but their money is the same color.
That's the same color. Yep. I was hired to do a mayoral campaign video, not live stream, but just video production. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I say chicken greasy, but it's all good.
All right, we gotta make sure. Oh, hold on. I want to make sure that we welcome Adrian. He just signed up for Ecamm.
You say Adrian. I'm looking for the British guy. I see this guy. I was looking for our Adrian.
Adrian Davis.
Welcome.
Hey, welcome, man. Welcome. If you need any help, you're in the right place, because this guy right here. Oh, I'm pointing the wrong way. That guy right there. He can help you out. Looking so gorgeous. And there's a ton of tutorials. So anything that you need help looking for or getting clarity on, don't feel overwhelmed. There's so much help and support.
Yo, Adrian, if you can, Friday morning, come to the demo. We do the live demo every Friday, and then can walk you through the whole sauce. Man, you walk out of there moonwalking like with the entire sauce, and we have a good time.
We do. All right. Anyone have any questions before we head out? Because it is 5:30, and you know what I got going on tonight, Mr. Doc? I got band practice because I'm in a band.
What?
Yeah.
What? Were you playing or just singing?
I'm just singing. Yeah,
Oh,
I play
that's
the piano
cool.
too, but yeah, I decided so like, I've gone through a lot of changes in my life over the last like 5-10 years. I'm not even
Changes
changes,
remain the same. You know what, Jill?
changes. But anyways, yeah,
I
I was like, I need to join a band.
Something I was doing. I had a talk yesterday in my stream about, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think it's very important that we take time to register and notice that, especially dudes, right? We're really bad at thinking that we can get help or we need help or we need to
Yeah.
ask somebody. So I'm coming after my my thug life homies. It's not unthug to go ask somebody if you need help.
Yeah.
So in the process, though, I've also been looking at things that we can do to like treat our brain or bless our brain up. Did you know 2 things that Jill, this is so funny. We all know that Jill is straight smart, period, point blank in the story. In my research, and I love the brain, I study the brain a lot. 2 of the things that you can do to your brain at any point in life to make your brain better: learn a language, learn to play an instrument. And I'm like, Jill can do both of them.
Yeah,
No,
tudo
straight
bom,
up.
gente? Vamos lá, então. Estou muito
Right?
inteligente, meu
そ
Deus
し
do
た
céu.
ら、もしかしたら、頭がもういいについてから、別の語、勉強して、後では頭がもういいでしょ? So, if you study another language, your brain just gets better, right? If you, Jill's wicked smart. That's what I was
Wicked
looking
smart.
for, Katie. Wicked
Wicked
smart. If you study an instrument, so even at whatever age, like pick up an instrument. If you need help, hit up Elaine. She'll teach you how to do the basic notes on or David Hunt, if he's here, they'll teach you how to do the basic notes on a piano or on a guitar or whatever. And like, sometimes, you guys are learning live streaming, you're already learning another language straight up, because every time I say something to y'all, you're like, what is that, Doc? And then I got to explain it. So you're kind of already learning another language.
It's you're developing, you're figuring out the codes and pathways. So I got actually sad news today. I used to perform at a nursing home every other week. We called it Wine Social. And my husband's Graham was there and his aunt was there. And so we'd go in every other Thursday, Wine Social. And unfortunately, COVID shut that down. But so this morning I got a phone call from a daughter of one of the residents, and the resident had just passed away. And she asked, it's going to make me emotional, she asked if she could include me and the other musician that sang there in the obituary, because what do you think happened when we sang music at the nursing home to people that have gone through memory loss, or their bodies are kind of frozen, but their mind's there? What do you think happened when they heard music? They came to life, and we did so many songs. She specifically mentioned, we have a recording of me singing, "How much is that doggy in the window?" Because I picked songs. Yes, I picked songs that I knew would make them come to life and that would resonate with them, that they'd be able to. Yeah,
you pick songs from their time, right?
Exactly.
So they'll know exactly what that is.
Exactly.
That's
so
just
music
amazing.
is so powerful. It's so important, and even if you're not a singer or a musician, music can do I mean, how many of us have gone to a concert and you get the goosies, and it's just like, oh, it's so therapeutic. And so I'm glad you're talking about mental health. And language learning is so important because it is an immediate open door into someone's life and heart, because you're showing them, I don't need to know your language, but your language and your culture is so important to me that I'm going to try my best, even if it's not perfect, to communicate with you in your own language. Your language is important, and I'm learning it because it's important. So I mean, man, language learning, big fan. Don't cry.
Well, since Homesick Mac popped on and it's time for fika.
Yeah, we gotta go.
You know what fika
Swedish.
is?
Yes, a girl. No. Frika is girl.
No. Fika is when you take a break and you go get a coffee and pastries.
I thought you were speaking Swedish, because if someone's...
No, that is Swedish. That is Swedish. The coffee break is called fika, F-I-K-A.
Fika. Well, I know...
In Hawaii, frika is a, like... Never mind. Now you freaka.
Well, in Portuguese, fica means stay. So this is a really confusing word to use right now, because are we staying or are we going?
Should I stay or should I go down?
Na, 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 na.
Should I stay or should I go
Someone
down?
asked me what genre of music. So what we do, we take new songs and old songs, but not like old like 80s songs. Like we're doing No Diggity. You got to bag it up. You know?
Did you say not like old like 80s songs?
I mean, when people say they do old, I know I'm an 80s chick. No, I am.
Okay, but I'm
when
saying
people
like
say
when you say like 80s is old to me, that's painful.
I know, but when I say people, we do mashups of new songs and old songs. People usually think like 70s, 80s, but we do it with like
it's
90s.
Not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Doc, thank you for joining us. For all 22 of you that have hung out with us this whole time, you're good sports because, man, I can't wait to watch this video on the replay. It's like, hi, we're live. No, we're not. Hi, we're live. No, we're not. Hey, it's just Jill trying to figure it out. Hey, now Doc's here. Okay.
So and that's a good point. So if you know it's something like you do this on the weekly and you know you have people that can help out, tell them like, just in case something helps out, can you take over and then I'll just come in as a guest and keep going. So I don't know if you guys saw the chat because it died right then. I was like, I can remote produce it real quick. It won't have all the scenes or whatever, but it could have just been you and Katie.
Yeah.
So,
but her connection was so bad. I mean,
we'll build in those contingencies next time, so we know, because
100%.
Between myself or Paul or Louise, any one of us can remote produce for you. You just come in as a guest and keep doing your thing.
Absolutely.
Boom. Thank you, guys.
Power of Ecamm. Thank you, Dak. We need wait, I don't think I have any music built in here. I have applause.
I got music. Look, I got the song.
You've got, I'm not unusual to be loved by anyone. You do not have that song.
I do, but wait, I got a better song. Hold on. Let's do this real quick. And I just got to switch profiles because I was being me last, and all I can do is press this button on my Stream Deck.
Oh, what is this? See you next time. Here we go. I can't hear you music.
You can't hear it?
No.
Shut the front door. Why does it not come through?
I don't know. I got you in here.
Oh, that's junk. It does. That makes me sad.
You're welcome, Nick. Thank you. Sorry, 50s. You're right. 50s is older. Oh, I can hear now.
This is a jam with the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam. This is a jam with the Ecamm fam. This is a jam with the Ecamm fam.
Straight up Ecamm.
This is a jam with the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam.
All right. Love you, Doc. I can't hear your mic now, so that's good. This is straight out of Ecamm.
There you go. That was awesome.
All right. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you for joining us. Doc, say bye.
Bye.